All right. Good evening to all my fellow Americans, and good morning, early morning to all my fellow mates. Tonight, it's myself and the spectacular Becky Specky.
Hello, everybody.
Exactly.
Good night to my fellow UK people, and good evening to my Americans.
That's right. So we're going to hammer it out. That's the name of our show. Becky and I, through this crazy world pandemic, have had the opportunity to host our own show. So you guys must have liked us somehow, some way.
I still don't understand. I still think someone replaced Tim, and Tim doesn't quite know yet that he's released us into the wild with our own show.
I know. This is going to be bad. No strings attached. We can talk about whatever we want.
Whatever we want. It is a free for all.
Tim, you better be scared. All right. So we have people jumping in the chat room. Becky and actually Rebecca, let me clarify. Becky has become her nickname on the Hammers chat, but we're going to change that to Rebecca now. And also, I prefer to be Katie. So we will make sure it's Rebecca and Katie. We are going to start our first show with our West Ham stories. What's our West Ham way? How did we become West Ham fans? I mean, I think it's quite odd for not only people to become West Ham fans, but how the heck did two beautiful, stunningly gorgeous women become West Ham fans? So over time, I've heard through the grapevine that Rebecca has this story about how she became a fan, and it's been getting amped up every week. So finally, we had to have our own show to hear about Rebecca and how you truly became a West Ham fan. So I'm waiting for it. This better be good, Rebecca.
Do you know what, right? I feel like it's been built up so much now that people are going to unsubscribe by the time I finished.
I don't think so. It's got to be better than my story, right?
I'm just this. I needed some fireworks or something behind me just to add some pizzazz to the whole story. But I'll start it off with. Actually, I'll start off by saying hello to everyone in the chat because I am seeing you all, and it's so and thank you for coming in and supporting our first show. I can see Cheeky Finger Ray come to support us tonight in our new show.
You know, actually, I wanted to mention something about that. Isn't it funny how you and I are on our own show? And poor Ray, he got kicked off.
I mean, all I'm saying is it's not that he was inappropriate, but...
Sorry, Ray, we still love you.
We miss you, Ray. Okay, so am I the queen? Am I that posh that I'm related to royalty? Am I really a West Ham fan? Well, one, I'm not that posh. Two, I'm not related to royalty. However, I do have family predictably from the East End. But my story is reasonably interesting because I come from a really mixed household. I'm about to out my brother and my dad now. So my dad is a Spurs fan.
Ooh,
and my brother
and
my brother is an Arsenal fan, a hardcore Arsenal fan. Jeez, so as Charlie will know, because we live fairly close, Arsenal's my nearest football stadiums. Arsenal's my nearest team. But I going all the way back to my granddad, who was born in East Ham and lived in East Ham for quite a lot of his life. He was always a huge West Ham supporter, massive West Ham supporter. And and he's the reason I support West Ham. I unfortunately never got to meet him because he passed away before I was born. But I always felt I had an affinity with him. And my dad always said that I'm really like my granddad. So at the age of 4, I turned around to dad and went, it's West Ham all the way.
Whoa.
It's West Ham all the way. So again, I'm going to out my dad. He's taken me to matches. He's taken me to West Ham v Spurs matches. My dad's incredibly supportive of me and keeps very quiet, obviously, when we're at Spurs matches. But he also took my brother to Highbury. So my dad, regardless of his bad supporting. He has always supported me, and he's always come to West Ham with me. So I used to go with my dad, and so that's the reason I'm a West Ham supporter. Always been, because it makes me feel closer to my granddad. And honestly, it's mad because I hope somewhere he's looking down and seeing his granddaughter sit here chatting about it on a channel.
Oh my
about
goodness.
The team that he absolutely loved. So, but I will say my brother mocks me daily because he's an Arsenal fan. Like my dad's pretty good. My dad's good. I'm not to my dad. Like, I drop all of the spud jokes, but my dad's pretty good too. But my brother, no holds back, goes for it. Insulting after insult after insult. To me, my brother, Arsenal, he's not in a great position to be that judgmental. But, so there is my story.
Are you going to cry after all that?
Aww, I am. Sweet. I had to beef it up, and it is true. It's for my granddad. I support West Ham for my granddad, and I do it for the pair of us because he's not here.
Oh,
so
man.
That's my West Ham.
Yeah, I know. 1-2 punch right there.
My dad doesn't have a daughter. He's going to be watching this, and he's going to be like, nah.
Well, funny enough, you should say that, Tim. Apparently, you said me and Becky don't have a lot in common. But the crazy part is my father's a Spurs fan as well. So maybe that's why we're rogue and wild women here, picking the West Ham way.
Do you know what? Ben's just written that his dad supports Millwall. I'm going to out my brother even more because he went on a small Millwall phase of going to the Den himself. Thankfully, he grew out of that. Thankfully, he grew out of Millwall, but he's going to kill me for all of this. But yeah, no, he did temporarily support Millwall for a reason I cannot explain.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Cannot explain. Not related to me. It's fine. Yeah, I disowned him at the time. But yeah, so that is my West Ham story.
I like it. That's awesome, Rebecca. I love it that it's in your blood and that you're following in your grandfather's footsteps. So obviously it's crazy for Rebecca to be a fan, but even crazier for someone across the pond to be a fan.
Absolutely.
So before I start my story, we just want to say thank you again to everyone in the chat room. We see you all chatting about. Tell us what you're drinking tonight. Rebecca, of course, is drinking her favorite tea. And her
I've got my tea. It's 1:10 in the morning, people.
I know.
I've got my tea. I'm old. I've hit 30. I just want to be comfortable and drink tea.
Hey, so old, Rebecca. So old.
I know.
Luckily, I'm here just 21, so got a little bit of wine here.
Also, can I just say, Katie has outdone herself with her background.
Oh, yes.
You did not see a more devastated face when I came onto StreamYard. I looked at her background, looked at mine, and just felt shame.
I felt like I was official.
But
the boys always are trying to show us up.
I know, but at least one of us is doing well.
We're gonna have to
put you,
a green screen.
I need a green screen.
We'll get you a green screen. Hey, I'm not seeing the king in here telling us what he's drinking. He usually has something good. Where is the king? He's there.
He's there.
He's there. I haven't seen him. So, yeah, my story about West Ham. It's kind of crazy. Played college soccer, as you guys know. And I'm not a big fan of the MLS here. It just doesn't give me that excitement. And so I was looking to support a Premier League team. And, with my father liking Spurs, I wanted a team with passion. I wanted a team with fans that were very loyal, like the Philadelphia Eagles, that no one was going to tell them that their team wasn't good. And when the chips were down, I wanted fans that were supportive of their players. And I think just with everything that West Ham had and seeing how the fans were with the players right down there on the pitch, I was like, yes, that's what I want. I want to be that. I want to be a West Ham fan. So my brother comes and says to me, hey, why don't we go to London? We'll watch a game. And I said, only if we go see West Ham. And he said, fine, only if we go watch Steps. So I'm like, oh God, all right, I'll go watch Steps. I'm like, anything for a West Ham game, right? So we end up going to London. We save our pennies. We head over, stay in East London, had the time of our lives drinking at the Bar Locks down on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if any of my friends over there in East London know about the Bar Locks, but it's quite a fun pub. We take the tube over to the game. We're so excited. We have our scarves on. It's cold out. I have a matching blue jacket. I'm so excited. And we get out of the tube and we're walking up to the stadium. And I, despite everyone else's stories, I'm like, oh my gosh, this place is huge. And I know that everyone else isn't a fan, but I was like, wow, I was really, in awe by the stadium. And as we're going through security, I'm very nervous. I'm like, oh, they're going to know we're not fans. They're going to know we don't fit. And so we go through and we get in and we're just so excited. And we didn't eat any lunch. So we were like, all right, we'll get dinner at the stadium. So as you know, is a big mistake because all the burgers were like 15 pounds. And me and my brother were like, oh, we only have like, couple pounds here. How are we going to eat? We want to be able to drink. So we end up buying 2 drinks a piece. And we're like, all right, let's go to our seats. And we're getting ready to go through. And then we were like, they said, oh, you can't go through with those. I'm like, oh no. So we haven't eaten dinner and I've got 2 ciders and my brother has 2 beers. So we're standing outside the stadium, just chugging along. And my brother's saying, drink up. Oh man, it was so bad. We get in the stadium. We are like in the top row, the last row, nosebleed section. And I'm just screaming, yelling. Everyone's up there having a good time. And I'm like, yeah, this is where the real people are, the real fans. We were just having a blast. So by halftime, I think the game was still 0-0. We ended up sneaking down. Shh, don't tell anyone. All the way down. And we sat in 2 seats. And crazy enough, we sat next to a man who married a woman from Philadelphia. Yeah, crazy. She was from the area that we grew up in. So we ended up chit-chatting with him, and his wife and his daughter were sick. They were ill, and they couldn't make the match. So he said we could sit there for the rest of the game. So we were about, maybe 5 rows up, from the field and got spectacular pictures. I got to see phenomenal crosses. He gave me his West Ham guidebook, which I still have. And crazy enough, this was in 2017, which I, didn't realize time flies. The 24th of November against Leicester. So how about it? My first game was 0-0. It wasn't too shabby. Of course I wanted to see a win. Who wouldn't? But after we made a couple friends there and they took us out to the pub and just had a blast. We took a ton of shots. I can't even tell you how many. And a young lad told me I was short, and I kept thinking he was telling me I was short. The whole night, I'm like, why is this man telling me I'm short? So from that moment on, my brother and I were like, that's it. We're going back to Philadelphia, and we're making a supporters club. And when I came back to Philadelphia, there was really no group that we could find until I connected with Tim. And he connected me with a couple other people like Wayne and Lena, and they told me about this young lad named Mark, and Mark and his buddies wanted to start a group. So we pretty much started West Ham Philadelphia, and we picked up Wally along the way. And I'm trying to get John Nolan down to a game at Stowe's, and it's a great time. We do hammer shots every West Ham goal. So I encourage anyone who's in the Philadelphia area or even in the United States to come by, watch a game with us at Stowe's once we're up and running. And for those of you across the pond, hey, you're always welcome here. I'll host you anytime. So just shoot me a message and you can come along. So yeah, that's my West Ham story. I know it's crazy. I don't know what I'm doing still following this team, but it's magnetic. It is just so invigorating to have such a group of strong supporters that are loyal. And, who would have thought, 3 to 4 years after I'd gone there, that I'd be involved in American Hammer's network and meet This Becky.
The thing is, what I love, and I know most fans of clubs would say this, but West Ham genuinely have fantastic fans. Like, there's genuinely a great energy about West Ham fans when they're all together. I mean, look at this. Like, I'm watching the chat now. We're all fantastic. We really do have it, because I think it's genuine fans. As I know I said to you before we came on air, you don't glory hunt for West Ham. So when you're a fan, you're a fan, and you do it because you love them. And I think that comes out so much in your story, that you can tell how much you love them. And I love that. I think it's fantastic.
I don't know why. They really give me headaches sometimes, especially that Antonio. But Tebow told me to lay off Antonio, so I'm gonna back off.
You leave Antonio alone. Maybe we'll talk about him a bit later. Maybe we might hammer that out. You know, we might have a little chat about Antonio. Let's see if I can change your mind. Let's see by the end of this if I've got a woman.
Challenge accepted.
that will love Antonio.
What I won't talk about is Big George.
I mean, you know.
I will say for Charlie, he was excellent competition in Friday Night Likes. I'm definitely thirsty, and I'm going to come after him the next round. But because of him, my friend thought I was going to win. And so that's why I got my my brand new bracelet that I posted. I don't know if you saw that. You see that?
Yeah.
They sent it to me because they thought I was going to win that. And I got a new London sign. So even though Charlie won, he gets to wear the crown. That's fine. I got my jewelry. So thank you, Charlie.
Hang on. We can knock that crown off his head. Come on. Next season of Friday Night Likes.
I think you go up against him, Rebecca.
Well, funny you should say that. I'm actually going up against Charlie on Hammer's Shots in a couple of weeks' time. I am.
What?
It's going to be North London versus Northwest London, which is me, and Charlie's North London. We are going to, and I'm going to ruin him. You heard it here first.
Yeah, you should ruin him. I'm voting for you.
You know, Charlie, you're going down.
Adam's doing a great job with Hammer Shots, by the way.
He really is.
I guess I'll have to get on that at some point. So, Charlie, you didn't think you were going to get away with not being mentioned with me on this show. Come on now.
Also, can I just address the fact, yes, I'm on the floor, okay? The settee is behind me, but I like sitting on the floor.
Hey,
so we've covered that now. I like sitting on the floor.
I would sit on the floor too, but I had to set up my poor background here, you know?
Look, I'm just not prepared enough. I'm not on a settee. I'm on the floor. I've got no West Ham stuff.
When you get back home.
I don't know what I'm doing here. No idea. I'm just talking down a camera.
All right. So now that we've gotten the chat room all riled up, ready to go, we've got some hot topics for this evening.
Yes, we have.
So the first topic that Rebecca and I wanted to chat about, because this really fired me up, and I know Rebecca's fired up about it. So when I was reading some of the club news today, I saw that West Ham responded to fans over partial season ticket refunds. And I have my own opinions about it, but, you know, they said that they're going to give fans club cash. And I just wanted to see what the chat room thinks about that. Are you season ticket holders excited to receive your club cash? Rebecca, tell us how you feel about it.
Okay, so I've had this opinion for when the coronavirus stuff started and football was suspended. Once Karen Brady started coming out in her Sun column being nice and being, I said decent, probably too strong a word, but like when she started saying about how we shouldn't come back, null and void the season, etc., and then when she announced publicly that they weren't going to furlough any of their staff and they were paying them, they were paying all of their key staff all of their wages for the entirety of this, I knew what was coming next. They were going to screw over the season ticket holders. I knew it was a bit of a charm offensive. So, oh, look, we're looking after our staff. We're paying our staff. And I just had a horrible feeling that what was going to come next is they were going to do something to the fans, and it was going to be in the form of their season tickets. People need their money back. Like, you can't just give it back in club cash, especially since when we don't even know what next season's going to entail. I mean, I'm when it comes to renewing your season ticket, like, that's not even really up for discussion at the moment, because we don't even know when next season will begin, let alone thinking about season tickets. So it should be a refund, 100%. I mean, I know they're not going to want it because it means giving out more money, and the clubs are losing money as it is. So I'd say I'd understand, but I can't understand why.
I mean,
but I feel like club cash, it's just poor, but it's what you'd expect. It's what you'd expect from PSP. That anything else would have been a surprise. And as I said, it's when they were like, we're looking after our staff. You knew for what they want to look after their fans.
Looks like we had people jump in from Italy and Connecticut. Shout out to you guys, Australia. Thanks for joining, guys. So we're talking about the West Ham giving ticket holders back their money. Should they do that? At this current point, they're giving club cash. And Rebecca and I took a look, and right now it seems like Leicester's the only club at the moment actually giving refunds. So I agree with Rebecca. I truly think that this was, it's not a surprise given our board. They need the money. They want the money. They want to be able to fund, have the funds for the remainder of the year, because they're losing the cash, not having the games. It's ridiculous. Do you think they'll have a protest over this? Because if I was there and I was a ticket holder, I'd be pretty mad.
Like Hammers United, the fan group, the group that organized the protests, they've asked politely for the board to give an explanation of what's going to happen with season ticket holders, because this conversation was going to come up eventually anyway. I mean, people have been asking, and I suppose they've been dragging it out because, to be honest, no one really 100% knows what's going ahead and what's not going ahead yet. But if the one thing they can do to the fans, and I understand, and Charlie made a good point, that they are losing money, they're losing match day revenue, I understand that, but you can't do that to the fans that are there, the ones that give you the money, part of the money. It's not fair. But I also agree, if they don't give a refund, there should be a genuine discount on next season's ticket. But as I said, no one knows what's happening with next season. So
yeah, right. And I completely agree with Charlie, and this is why I would be absolutely livid that, because of everything going on, understandably they're losing money, but what about everyone else? We're not going to work.
No.
Well, at least those that can't work aren't going to work. Rebecca and I were lucky enough that we can work from home, but not everyone is as fortunate as us. And I would be knocking down their door to get my money. And at minimum, they should be giving money back. And the second option would be at least apply it to next season. But you're right. We don't know what's going to happen, number one, with this season, and number two, what next season's even going to look like.
But it's such a good point, because, there's people who can't work. Now, obviously, season tickets already been paid for, but there's people now who are out of work and could benefit from getting their ticket money back if they can't attend games. And I know some people have argued, yeah, but we're going to see it on the telly. But that's no real argument, really, because so am I. I don't have a season ticket, but yeah, I'm going to watch it on the telly. You've paid. It's your money. You don't get to go, and you get it back. And I think if the board want to help the relationship with the fans, this is one of the ways to do it. Do I think they're going to? Yeah. No, it's going to be club cash all the way. But this would be one way where they could, an olive branch, if you will, to the fans after everything. But who knows? Well,
Wally's okay with getting that club cash. So Wally, when you get your club cash, let me know. I will use it in the store immediately. So No, you cannot buy cheesesteaks with club cash.
Actually, Wally, can I have your club cash so I can give myself a background? Thanks. Like,
well done.
I'm lacking a little bit. So if please, thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, and I was also seeing, you know, of course, we've talked over the past couple weeks about when they're coming back, if they're coming back. Of course, today they said they'll be back June, as long as everyone and the players will be safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen crazy things out there, like people slide tackling, like someone mentioned before, with their face away. Like, how is that really going to work?
Well, it's not going to work. I mean, it's unbelievable that you would go into a tackle, close your eyes, and turn away. Like, VAR is going to have a field day by the time this is all done, because they're just going to go in for slide tackles. Oh, I couldn't see. I wasn't looking. I couldn't look. You know, I might get coronavirus. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I wholly recommend. I wholly recommend ringing that number.
Guys, make sure when you have a complaint about VAR, you call this number, okay? 512, we are AHTV. It's very important that you call that number.
It's just, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And I mean, and you talk about, you know, I've seen articles all over the place about guaranteed safety. There's no such thing. No such thing. The Premier League can't 100% say that every single player and member of their staff and the medical staff, TV crews are going to be guaranteed safe, because it's not going to happen.
No, I know.
Although I will say for Robert, though, I wonder who's going to be the first yellow card to get for claiming someone coughed on them.
I just have to mention to Charlie, if you're pro VAR, you can get off our show, okay? You're just ruffling everybody's feathers.
If you're pro VAR, can I take that to VAR to think it over and then block you from the channel?
Exactly.
Is that a thing? Can we do that?
Oh man,
it's not going to work. It's you know, I've said this before when they're going on about the integrity of the game. Well, they've removed apart from the kicking the ball bit, they've removed every other part of the game of stuff you can't do. It's not going to.
We'll think about it. So actually, I do want to have Charlie on the show because I'm gathering my materials to send over to you, Rebecca.
Mm-hmm.
And once you guys get the package, you're going to come on the show and you're going to open it.
Oh, do we both have to do like a in sync cheese whiz squeeze?
Possibly. There's a very good possibility.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I said something about cheesesteaks and it made me hungry. So. Exactly. Oh, send Charlie the link. I don't know the link. It's just StreamYard.
This shows it's already descended into chaos, Charlie Walsh. Behave yourself.
Exactly. So what about right now with trades? I saw that we are interested in someone from Italy. I'm
loath to believe anything out of the media that involves any trades or transfers, because there's nothing. There's nothing, and journalists are pulling it from literally nowhere just to make news, because we all know all the news there is at the moment is, when will the Premier League restart?
Yeah, I know. It's I don't know, but I'm ready for it to start. I'm ready.
Are you okay? So I've got a question, and then a question to Katie and a question to the chat. Are you pro it coming back?
I'm not, and I am. So I'm not because I want to protect the players. We've had people here that are young and healthy and have had COVID for about 38 days. And they said it's like the flu on steroids. So there are people that it takes them a very long time to recover, and then there are people where they're just fine. But, do you want to be that person that's sick for 38 straight days of just the flu? I can't imagine. And I can't imagine what that would do to a player. So much of your lungs and having to breathe while playing soccer, that could just
absolutely
hit you. I don't think that anyone's really touched on that topic.
I think no one is particularly safe from it. It doesn't discriminate. I mean, I know people have said that if you're a healthy footballer, if you're a healthy athlete, you're unlikely to catch it. You're still likely to catch it. It's very contagious. It might not make you as ill as maybe vulnerable people, but you still got it. It's still hugely contagious. You're still likely to pass it to everyone that you come into contact with. And it's not even physical contact. It's just spreading it in other ways. That's the thing. It's not, they say about turning their face away. It can still spread.
Yeah.
That way, and obviously they were talking about wearing masks, which is ridiculous. You can't wear masks while you're playing football. That
absolutely not. Could you imagine sweating and having a mask on your face? Like, okay, you're running down the field like this. You'd barely be able to breathe.
And that's the point. Like, it won't work. So you're for and against. So do you just want football back?
I want football back selfishly because I want to watch and I want to get together with everybody at Stowe's. But,
I've been really consistent on this. I don't think it should come back. So as much as I want football back, I think this is it. Okay, right. It is all money because football's a business. The whole thing's a business. I understand that, but you shouldn't be putting the welfare of other players and other humans, because they are human.
Yeah,
I think people, when we talk about it, we can end up kind of talking about them if they're not human. If they're superhuman, they're not. They're like the rest of us, and it's such a risk. And I think this season can come back. I just don't necessarily think it can come back right now. Now, I know the UK government said they've opened the doors for football to start in June, but the date's actually been pushed back. So originally it was the 12th of June, and now it's sort of been allegedly pushed back to the 19th, which isn't that, to be honest, isn't that dissimilar to the Bundesliga. It got pushed back. For me, it's too risky. It's too dangerous. Too much uncertainty right now to bring football back. I know they want to neatly pack it up so it finishes near the end of July and then the new season starts, but that's another problem in itself, because you've got, is it just over 2 weeks to get all teams back in a very tiny preseason to start the new season?
Well, you know what I said about, previously we talked about injuries, and, with half of our players being injured, I think just having a rest and getting them back up to tip-top shape, I think that would really do us some good. Especially with our front line, Allaire, Bowen, a little bit of firepower up there.
Absolutely.
Your boy Antonio. Okay.
Antonio. Yeah. Antonio.
I don't like it, but I said it.
A little bit of Antonio. Okay, never hurt anyone. Never hurt anyone.
I think it was Sofan who said earlier, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, I'm the worst at names. He said, yeah, but he can't finish. Ha. See, Rebecca?
All right.
You are
okay.
On my side.
Hang on. I got opinions, right? I'm going to give them, and they're on Antonio. And I've never, ever claimed that he was the best player. He isn't the best player. I violently said he isn't the best player.
Yeah.
He
is hard.
He's our muscle. And okay, when he kicks the ball, he desperately misses.
I'm so sorry. I really am.
He misses. Okay, I get it. But we still need him. And I think he plays an important part. And I especially think he will play an important part with Bowen and Allaire.
Allaire.
I'm getting ruined in this chat for my impassioned speech about Antonio.
Yeah, he has heart, and I'm all about that. I do agree. He definitely hustles. He works hard for the ball. Do you think that the Premier League is waiting to see what occurs in Germany.
100%. And I think that's been part of the problem, is that the Premier League have had no blueprint to go from, like, at all over this. But unfortunately, with the Bundesliga, as excited as I am about the Bundesliga, because I would like some football.
Yeah.
If any people who know me, I love a tiny little bet. So the Bundesliga coming back is pretty good for me. But if one person gets it, or if another, if multiple people get it in different teams, they'll call it off. And I don't know what's worse, starting something and then not being able to complete it, or just going, look, this isn't a feasible option to bring football back at this time. I still think, as I said, they can finish this season, just not right now.
Yeah, I mean, who just had 4 players? So someone just had 4 players get it. I'm trying to remember. It doesn't matter. Regardless, I just think that.
What, in the Premier League or in the Bundesliga?
It wasn't. No, it was somewhere else. But yeah, there's just no way. There really isn't. As much as I sit here and say I would love for them to come back, there's truly no way. Because think about all the protocols that are going to have to be in place. Like I said, the cost of testing.
Yeah. I mean, I did some research on the Bundesliga actually yesterday, because I like my research. And they haven't actually really they've been isolating the German teams, but not to the extent that the Premier League are going to isolate their players. It's not quite been the same. And I don't know what's worse, just going ahead with it like the Bundesliga is, and not being trying to be so in control.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Premier League is really trying to control it from start to finish. And I still don't think it's going to work, because they can't control something they physically can't see. This is the problem with the virus, is that as much as you can attempt, you have to rely on so many people to follow really strict rules. And all I'm going to say is some players so far, Carl Walker, haven't, like, you're having to rely on the players not to have hooker parties. And I just don't know how many will not have hooker parties. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you've really, and seriously, you've got to rely on them to actually take it fully seriously.
Talk about taking care of your lungs. Whew. There we go.
But it's money. And I know that's been said throughout the chat. Like, it's pure money. They're losing money. I mean, the Premier League's one thing, but when you're talking about the Championship and League 1 and 2, like, they're the 3 that are really going to be affected by this.
Mm-hmm.
And the loss of money.
So let's say Premier League decides, all right, we're going to end the season, moving forward. Our first game, where are you watching it? And in the chat, tell me where you're going to watch your first game once we get back out there.
Are we where we are going to watch it?
Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? Who are you going to be with?
Okay, so I'm not a pub. I'm not a pub person. That's a lie. But I don't. Now Specky Becky is telling barefaced lies on the internet. I'd be watching it at home, because in all honesty, of course, Fo's in his bunker. He's always in his bunker.
I need to find out about this bunker.
I'm sure it's a shed at the bottom of the garden, Fo. I'm pretty sure you live in the bottom of your garden. But I would be at home, because I still don't.
You're afraid to go out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still not. I wouldn't be going to a pub personally. Also, yeah. I've just seen Tom saying in block 234, that's gonna be a long time, my friend, till you get back in that stadium. That is gonna be a long, long time till fans actually get back and see live football.
Yeah, that makes me a little sad. It does.
It won't be till next year. I don't even know if it will really be next season that fans get back, because, as I said, there's still so much uncertainty, and there's still so much and scientists and the government still don't know about it and how to control it and how to cure it. And then there's the whole vaccine thing. So it's, do people stay indoors till there's a vaccine? It for some people, it's a lot, and it's a lot for the government to try and unpack and understand. More so for the Premier League to unpack and understand, and that's why I'm not a fan of it coming back.
Yeah,
at the moment, and I want to make it clear, it's just at the moment.
Right. No, I agree with you. I think that we're not going to be allowed in the stadium, so I'll be with the king, Wally, watching at Stowe's with my mask on, standing at least 6 feet apart from Wally.
You'll be socially distancing from Wally.
I will.
Hey, Wally, haven't women been doing that to you for years?
Man, she called out the king. I don't know.
I'm going down now. He will not take kindly to that.
Rebecca, we are going to start a bloody war with the rest of the American Hammers chat. They are going to be punches left and right for us in all the other shows this week.
I know. And,
so
also bring it on,
Oh, and bring it on. Hey, we got some thick skin over here, gentlemen.
You get a Brit on at 1:41 in the morning.
I know.
What were you expecting from me?
No, I know. It's a lot. So, has anything that you've seen out on the interwebs?
Yeah. So actually, one thing I'm interested in talking about is what people think. Are they for it coming back, or are they for points per game?
What do you think? Are they coming?
So the thing is with points per game is there's two methods of points per game that could be used, and one involves us being relegated.
Yeah, I don't want that one.
And the other one is the one when we don't get relegated. So let's categorize this between the one we want and the one we don't want. So I'm curious to the chat, would they want points per game, or would they just want to play it out?
No, I think
shots fired.
No,
shots fired.
Don't we want it to be not points per game?
If we do points per game, where it's the simple points per game and not the weighted points per game, we don't go down. I think that is it. Please correct me, chat. I think that puts us 16th, whereas weighted points per game puts us as 18th.
Yeah, we don't want weighted
go down. I would be happy with points per game.
Yes.
If it's not the relegated one.
There we go.
But I don't know if I'm going to be controversial here and say I obviously don't want us relegated at all.
No.
At all. But do I think football should come back and risk lives? Also, no. So it's a difficult one.
Well, I think, changing the rules and making everything different, that's not the way it should be. Because there's a global pandemic. I've always been for, let's just call it, if they're going to go back and play it, play whatever games, and then if it gets called, then you just kind of throw out the season and don't relegate everyone.
See, I'm sort of with Charlie. Charlie's just said here, take relegation. Football not coming back.
No, Charlie.
See, no. I'm partly there.
We don't want to be relegated though.
No, and I think this would be one of the worst times to get relegated. It really would be. But I just morally, I don't think football should come back, and it should be done on points per game.
Yeah, we've talked about Diangana.
I love Diangana. Diangana's got his time's coming, and he will be such a key. And listen, I know Tim doesn't agree.
I know
with Diangana. But then Tim doesn't agree about Fabianski, so his opinions.
They're not always right.
Do we listen to Tim? Like, but no, Diangana, he's got a place, and I think he's ready. See, I think Diangana would be ready now. Would he get first? Would he get first team, or would he be on the bench more? Be on the bench. He would be on the bench. Like he would not get a ton of minutes. That's an unfortunate question.
Yeah, you know what I would pick?
Antonio.
That's funny.
Antonio only on. Although also, why not both? But like, he has a place, and it is time. And I've said, like, it's time for the youth to come back for next season, because that's youth's time to shine for us because of the lack of money that's going to be spent. With transfers, youth, it's next season's time for them to shine 100%.
The other thing that a lot of us have been kind of chit-chatting about, Noble as a possible manager.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think of that? I am all about it.
So in the article, in Noble, he would prefer more of a board role, or a director of football, than I think manager. I think he in the interview, he said that he would like to make an actual difference to who comes in, who's brought. And to be honest, I think he'd be great. I mean, I could sit here now for another hour just declaring my love for Mark Noble and everything that man does. But I could genuinely see him in a position like that. But would I take him as manager? It's hard, because having no managerial experience is, as much as I'd like to say yes, I don't necessarily think that's what we need. But there is 100% a place for him in West Ham. For me, manager, Nolan.
Yeah.
Nolan, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. It's got to be Nolan for me.
Yeah, I think that if we have a strong head coach, we'd be fine with having Noble. But yeah, I think, we need a very strong head coach and Nolan.
Absolutely.
But relegation is not the answer.
I mean, no, relegation isn't the answer at all. And it would be one of the worst things to happen to us. And as I said, this is the wrong time for us to get relegated, because it's a bad time. But it depends how they choose the points per game. But it does seem madly made up, because there's two methods of it. So you could create many methods of it. And if people could do that, that would be great if they all involve West Ham staying up. But the weighted points per game is what they.
So I said, did I say John Nolan? I mean Kevin Nolan. I'm sorry, but I would take John Nolan too.
I take John Nolan for Prime Minister. Just saying.
He's got that smooth voice.
He has, and honestly, his gorgeous dog. If we could just John Nolan, just like.
I haven't seen his dog.
Haven't you?
No, just his baby. Which is cute, I think. Right?
That sounded like disappointment. Just his kid. What is his dog?
As long as that little girl is wearing, a West Ham kit, I'm okay with it.
Oh, she'll be in claret and blue. Yeah. You know that. She'll be in claret and blue.
Exactly.
But yeah, but Nolan for manager, for me, 100%.
This is funny. Kevin Nolan is number 1 and John Nolan is number 2. I'll take it. Maybe that's what I meant. Who cares about Kevin Nolan? It's all about John Nolan.
It's all about John Nolan.
Oh, question for the chat: KDK or Specky Becky? Sell one. Dude, does he mean us?
Sell me, right? Keep Katie.
No, come on.
Yeah, come on. We all know that. We all know that's what the chat wants.
Yeah, what kind of question is that?
We sell. Yeah, right. That's
Wayne
true.
is right. So as you guys can see, there's obviously not much more to touch on with this crazy virus going on. But Rebecca and I want to continue to make this a continuous chat. We're going to hammer out each week all the hot topics. We're going to have special guests. So if you guys want to come on the show and talk about, something cool, a player you met or an experience after the game, what happens at the boats, because I still don't know what happens at the boats. And I think the Americans here need to understand what goes on there. So we want to make this chat as interactive as possible and fun. We're going to be the best American Hammers TV show.
We are.
Without a doubt.
Just to make that clear, we're already the best.
Absolutely. And
P.S.
we're going to get t-shirts with our faces on it. It's going to be Becky.
Just want to say, I know I've been sassy tonight. I do love Tim, by the way, even though his opinions on Fabianski worry me, but he's amazing.
He is.
I have to say that because I'll never be allowed back again.
Yeah, that's true.
He won't let me back. He won't let me back.
Yeah, and we're talking about having some special stars on the show, so it's going to be a good time, and we appreciate you guys hanging out with us for the evening, for the early morning.
I do have one question that I saw in the chat. Would you sell Yarmolenko?
Yarmo.
Yeah.
Do I tell them what I think?
Go for it.
I'd sell him.
Would you go on? Why?
I have never been a big Yarmo fan. He just doesn't pack enough punch for me in the midfield.
I would sell him, but he's our highest paid. I think he's on 115 a week. It's 115,000, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed because I really like him. But he'd only played 25 games from us since we signed him in 2018. And for a highest player, that's not good enough. It's not good enough. And his injury record was naff before he came to us. So he's only proved that he is a real injury concern by constantly being injured. I know, as you said, players have had a huge rest because with the whole coronavirus thing, but he was great. Now he's not so great. And I think we could definitely save some money by getting rid of him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think now's the great opportunity for, players to make sure they're taking care of themselves, their injuries. Like I said, I think this time, as much as we hate it, I think it'll play in our favor. I truly do. So mark my words, chat. If we come out and we don't come out strong, you can blame me. But I definitely think that, we'll be much stronger going into the next season.
The only thing that concerns me about going into the next season is depending on if we play this one out, we finish this season, because we're quite injury prone as a team. I mean, Antonio as an example, he's still a huge injury concern for us, even though I think he does a good job for us. He's still giant hamstring, and that gets easily damaged when he's playing. And I just think that this lack of, I know they've been training in isolation, but it's not the same. So I'm just wondering how we're going to look when we come back if we start playing next month. Do you think that we'll be more injury prone, or do you think we'll sort of slide back in absolutely fine?
I think we'll be okay, given the amount of time we've had. As long as they're taking care of themselves, I think we will be fine.
I just don't know. That's my only concern. I think that's going to be across the board for a lot of teams.
This is a good amount of time for a hamstring to heal.
I just don't trust any of our players who have been injured.
I don't trust him to put on a snowman suit and get behind the wheel of a car.
No one trusts him to do that. I mean, I do trust him to put on the snowman outfit. It's just the driving bit that's a little bit, Will I let him drive my car? Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, never.
Not a chance.
Exactly.
So I think that's my only thing. And as I said, I think it's going to be across the board with other teams. And I think this is going to just look like this. If we finish the season, it will just look like some giant friendlies where it's all a little bit, it will take a while for teams to set in, and that of course will affect the table anyway. I think there will be a few jumps and changes if we do finish this season next month.
Yeah.
But I also, sorry for jumping in.
No, go ahead.
I talk too much, everyone. I do apologize. I saw another question in the chat. What do we think of the bottom 3 teams getting relegated for opposing the Premier League coming back? Because this isn't like official, but there's been murmurings of punishing teams that refuse to play.
I mean, they're going to have to make a decision together, you know. I don't think that they have a right to punish teams that, I think that if teams are out, then it's just a no-go.
I think it would be such a shame to essentially, if they did punish teams, I'm not sure they could get away with it because lawsuits would be all over the place. I think that you can't punish teams for worrying about their welfare, worrying about their health, and worrying about the welfare of their families and other people that they know. Like I just think I don't think they could do it, because I think they'd be sued for millions if they tried that. I mean, I feel like that whilst it is their job, there is a global pandemic and there's a huge risk to life and health at the moment. So I feel like, I imagine what teams will do if you don't want to play. They'll literally just go, right, okay, then we'll replace you. I think they just have to hope that a whole team doesn't sit there and go, no, that's it, we're not playing.
I think this is the name of the game. I think Wally hit the nail on the head here.
See, okay, so I feel quite strongly about this, about people saying null and void it. So I don't agree with null and voiding it. And obviously, the Premier League have said,
just ending it, just end it.
Yeah, because obviously the Premier League have said, like, null and voiding the season is out of the question. It will either be ended points per game or we'll play on. But I do feel sorry for the bottom 3 teams because it's so close. So with giving Liverpool the title, they're mathematically that far ahead.
I don't think
fair enough. But the bottom 3, the bottom 3 I have a huge problem with.
I think everyone just stays.
It's so close. But then on the other hand, it's a competition. So if Liverpool win, if they get the title, you need relegation. It's just deeply unfair. But this whole situation is deeply unfair. And there's going to be absolutely no perfect answer at all. No one's going to come. Someone's going to sue someone by the end of this because there's no perfect response to it. See, absolutely. Tony said for fairness, it needs to be finished, but then for health, it needs to not be finished. So whilst I understand that, I think it's such it's a really difficult one. And we could talk about it for hours. The Premier League have been talking about it for hours for the last 3 or 4 days, and they've still not truly come to a decision. So if we can't, they can't, it's hard. Nothing will be fair.
Yeah.
Nothing will be fair at all.
I agree. All right. So Rebecca and I will be here every other Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 a.m. British Standard Time. So every 2 weeks, we're going to come up with questions and we'll shoot them out there on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. So make sure you guys are following us, Specky Becky and Ms. West Ham Philly. We're going to keep you entertained until we get to the next season. And hopefully once we get there, we'll have a lot more content to talk about.
Absolutely. And can I just say, I wish and hope that people will send in questions. So please DM me, please tweet them to me. We want questions. Me and Katie want to sit here and argue really nicely with each other on the internet for your entertainment.
We'll argue all the time.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. I mean, we're not afraid. I might insult a few people. It's fine. You know, it's what we're here for.
Exactly. And then Charlie, bringing back the steps conversation.
Charlie's bringing it in with the banging questions. I'm going to answer this.
All right.
It's 5, 6, 7, 8. It's got to be.
Really?
Yeah. What's your favorite step song?
Neon Blue. And you want to know why?
Why?
Because when my brother and I went to oh geez, where does Spurs play?
White Hart Lane.
No, what town are they in?
Well, they London.
It's on the tip of my tongue, and I don't know why I can't think of it. So anyway, when we went to the venue there, they were recording for their tour, and my brother and I got to be in the music video for Neon Blue. So if you guys have the tour video, him and I are dancing to Neon Blue.
See, this is amazing. What with Ray and him posing with the Venga Boys, I'm feeling quite left out here. I need to go and get Charlie. Me and you need to go and gate crash some bands.
Yeah, so I'll have to show you a picture next time. I'll bring that.
Absolutely.
We're in that video. We're in that music video, so it's pretty fun. But yeah, everybody likes Tragedy. That's a good song. But
see, I don't like that song. I can't bear that song.
Yeah.
I don't even like the Bee Gees version, people. I just can't. I just don't like it.
Oh, thank you, Neil. You are just the best.
You lot are so good. You're all so nice. You're all so nice.
I would say it was pretty successful. We had someone from Connecticut. That's like a whole nother country. Italy, Australia.
Also, Robert, yeah, you do have to listen to Steps. Preferably do it before you go to sleep and you'll dream about them. It will be good, I promise.
Well, thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. And we will see you in 2 Thursdays from now. So Rebecca and I, we're going to wrap it up.
And just one thing before we go, everyone, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to Megan Hammers TV. Pity likes, anything. Please just like it. Even if you didn't like this, just give us a like. It'll make us happy.
Yeah. Like, subscribe.
Like, subscribe. Create new accounts. Like again. Yeah.
We want all the likes.
All the likes and no Charlie. I'm going to spend my whole time on the floor.
I'll sell Rebecca for a couple likes. I'm kidding, Rebecca. I would never sell you.
put your bids in. Bids start at 25p. Let me know.
All right, guys. Well, have a great night. And just to wrap it up, we're going to say, come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons. Stay safe, everybody. Take care.
Stay safe, guys. We'll see you soon.